intensely. Feel like Kobe, I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me, I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. You're on step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready? Who ready?
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. This is the One and One Sports Show. My name is right now. I know that Mr. Bennett is not going to be in with us tonight, but I got myself, Dante.
What's up, everybody? I'm Shawnee. What's up, Trey?
Right?
What's up, fellas? How you?
See, we got Trey with us with the voice of God coming with that mic. Man. Oh, yeah. So we want to welcome everybody into the One on One Sports Show. This is the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Obviously, you can get content here 7 days a week. Just like last night, we was backstage. We were talking about the discussion they had last night about the upcoming election in November. You can get interesting topics like that, other issues that deal with the Black community. So it's a great network, 7 days a week. Obviously, we give you sports tonight, but you get many different topics throughout the week. You'll see at the bottom of the show, you will see our cash apps there. If you agree and like things that you're getting with the show, feel free to contribute to the cash apps there. We would really appreciate that. We appreciate any likes, subscribe, sharing of this great content. Appreciate Black Man for this platform and this good network here, as we covers so much and so much airtime. So contribute if you like what you're seeing. Tell someone and tell a friend, and share that. And obviously, I'm gonna start off with everybody. See everybody's doing this week. Shawnee, how you feeling, man? How's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm over here double duty, and they gave her first homework from daycare today, so that's why I'm going back and forth. Got to get her tracing her name and doing these alphabets. So
man,
she just finished it actually. So
I feel you. You got to get on that, man. I got my daughter. She today they actually learned about the cow and milking the cow and the healthy milk, and they got the picture of it. So it's like, man, I'm really starting to. I really got a whole junior, and then I'm talking about the cow goes moo, milk the cow, drink the milk. So we on the same plane on that one. So I feel you. Trey, how's it going for you? Better yet, give us an update. How's the team doing? I see them in the background there.
Well, since I last saw y'all, we 1-1.
Okay.
I can see, and it's no brag for me, but the coaches that was there before me, they were struggling as far as teaching. Everybody got their PlayStation plays. Everybody got they want to do the Xbox video game type of plays, but they don't know how to teach that style of play. So just me coming in, showing the players how to play positions from lineman to quarterback to running back, it showed in this last game. Tacklers they were gang tackling, they were catching passes, they were running the ball, everything that they were missing. And the fact that they even took the picture, they was more motivated than me just to take the picture. And this is only my second week,
Okay.
So, I'm excited, man. This little kid behind me, this little black kid right here,
Yeah.
that boy he can probably play 6 positions on the field, And it was his first game, so he's a little tired, but I have a little full, like this little guy right here behind me. I don't know, y'all can't see it. What I'm seeing, the little white guy that's like right here to my right here straight.
Yeah.
I showed him how to kick field goals today, and he's probably 4'8", 4'6", and that's his twin brother down here with his little hands on the bottom on this side, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's the kicker, and he had an interception yesterday. Because I've been showing him how to play the ball. And man, they play really good team ball, man. I just got to get the coaches to stop being so antsy and talking to them like they can't do the job, but they improving, man. A guy got his finger dislocated on our team, his pinky. His father's the coach, but he only coaches his son. He got a brace on his thumb, but he dislocated his pinky on that hand. It's sort of Yeah, it was East and West.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
And yeah, but I think they're gonna be good, man. They getting better. The other coaches are starting to listen to me. So a lot of little young dude, young one dude. You don't really know what he's doing,
See,
but
not only you got to coach the players, you sound like you got to coach the coaches.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And that's it.
gotta help them
But
up in it.
it's the third game. I came late. I just got there 2 weeks ago. So but yeah. I think they're gonna be all right, man. We don't have another game for another week.
Okay.
So but the 8th grade lost, but again, the coaches, you can't tell kids what they can't do, and that I don't think no.
You gotta coach. You gotta coach to their strengths, and what they don't do, you have to work on them, and you gently tell them, "Hey, you're not strong at this. This is why." And you have to kind of teach them. I haven't coached in a minute. I was the last time I coached. It was really because my brother, the one that's in college right now, he was a bit of a. We had to harness the fire and the competitiveness in him. You had to harness that because it would spill over. And as his brother, I could help him. And so I basically was on the team doing that and controlling him and helping him get that fire out because he's a guy that can find the football on the defensive end. But I want to say once he had a penalty, and I told him, I said, you cost us this game. You cannot let that happen again. And I want to say that's one of the things where you got to tell players the truth. But he never let that type of situation happen. He even became the guy that, hey, let me calm these guys down. Hey, you're gonna spill over the edge. I've been there before, and that's the kind of thing that you have to turn, and that's the growth that you look for. And so I love it, but I always know, I almost know I'm not gonna coach again. Probably my son just turned 2. My wife kind of mandated, hey, football is a dangerous sport. She sat and watched concussion with me. She's like, you can't really play unless you coach. So I'm gonna have to dust my whistle off in a couple of years here. But we'll get to that when we can. I'm glad everybody doing good. Y'all got the win. Shani over here helping with homework, but I got regular season ready as my bye line this week. But weeks before that, we're gonna get into what it was. It was like pay CD Lamb, and not that the Cowboys were watching the one-on-one sports show. I would love it if they did and give us some pub, but they did go ahead and pay CD Lamb and sign him to a deal, sign him to a 4-year extension worth up to $136 million. 100 million of that is guaranteed, and an NFL record $38 million signing bonus. And so I was just watching a clip of him saying how impatient he was getting. And I'm not saying you can read the most from this, but he did say his agent was like, "Hey man, they're only gonna go up to 34 million." And he said, "Where do I sign?" And that kind of lets you to know the agent is always sometimes pushing and doing their job to get you the most. If you don't know, Justin Jefferson at the APY annual per year, he is at 35 million. CD Lamb is at 34. I want to say in the division in the NFC East, AJ Brown is at 32, and I think there's another player I want to say around 32. I think that is I'm on Ross St. Brown. So you could tell if anybody has said you could tell slated that's around where it was going to be. It's just that getting it done, and it's one of those deals to where Jerry Jones, and we're going to get to him and his GM in a minute, and his defiance goes to the splash of the deal and break it. But it's a deal that Mr. Bennett had told us every week, hey, crickets in Dallas, what's going on? And I was like, hey, it's gonna happen. I'm confident in it. They like to say that is Jerry Jones' famous quote, deadlines make deals. And the deadline was basically if you get the camp this week, which he did. He signed it on Monday, and now he was at practice. They had practice at the start today and yesterday on Tuesday as well. So now he's able to go through the install. He's been paying attention on the iPad. He's week 1 ready against one of the better pass last year's number 1 pass defense. So that's going to be a challenge for him, but he's the number 1 guy. He's a guy that he has been in shape. So I have confidence that he's going to be able to get it done. So, Sonny, my question to you is: how do you feel about the deal? How do you feel about him coming out week 1? And do you think he'll be healthy enough to make an impact?
I mean, basically, the deal is like any other player of his caliber. It's basically he was next. Um, I know a couple of weeks ago we were talking about Brandon Ayuk and his negotiation he had going over San Fran. I Lamb and Jefferson's numbers were better than Ayuk, but Ayuk literally had like 50, over 50 less targets than they did. because his team is by far run first. So I was hearing that on the radio that he can use. I mean, some people, if you're just looking at like stat for stat, and some people might not think that Ayuk somehow deserves. I don't know why people be thinking players don't deserve their money, but they don't. He ain't gonna deserve a salary like Lamb got. 'Cause a lot of times, that's what they do. As soon as one player of high caliber gets paid, the next one coming up, they celebrating because they know that's their mark. With Ayuk, some people probably look at like if you put a stat sheet in front, they were like, oh, he don't have the same thing as Lamb do, so he should not get that. But because I believe, and I know we're talking about Lamb, but I was just using Ayuk as an example with like the 49ers, because it's all about negotiation. That's why I wasn't surprised. I mean, you had Lamb sitting out. What's his name? Still sitting out. He's just walking the sidelines. The Bengals receiver. Yeah, he just walking the sidelines. He's there, but
holding
in. And Ayuk, I think he did the same thing. He's there. He's just walking the sidelines. And with the Cowboys and Lamb and their negotiation and the length that it took, I heard a while that at one point there was just only like $1 million away, but it still took like a couple of weeks for him to ultimately get signed. The two sides like $1 million away, but sometimes it's not always about the money per se, the language that's in those contracts. A lot of times you don't really find that out unless you just go to of a source that really covers that stuff in major details. And so I just see right now Trey saying he's overpaid. I can't say he's overpaid. He's paid. He just happened to have a career year last year, and he's a free agent. Not free agent, but his contract was coming up. I think they still had a year left on his contract.
Yeah, they still had this year under the
the
first round pick.
The rookie contract.
The rookie contract. So he had the 5th year option. They have the option if you are a good player, they're going to pick up that 5th year option and either trade you if they don't want to pay you, or they're going to extend that deal.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing between Lamb and Ayuk. They both had just 1 year remaining. I think Chase has 2 or 3.
Chase was which? Let me see if he was a part of.
He has 2 left.
I think he might have 2 left because he was drafted after. He was drafted after those guys. He was a part of.
Chase is trying to pull a Zeke. You remember when Zeke was going back and forth with his negotiation? He negotiated his new contract before the year before his 5th year kicked in. That's what Chase is doing. Lamb and Ayuk, their 5th year is about to kick in.
Yeah.
They're at the 5th year. And what he's doing is, and in fact, I know for a fact because of the other receiver they got, T. Higgins, he was drafted in the 2nd round, so he did have a 5th year option. He played his 4 years, and then they franchise tagged him. He was drafted a year before him, so they had that dynamic duo. So it's one of those deals to where the Bengals are notoriously cheap, and I know we're talking about Lamb, but we're talking about all the contracts. If you don't know, player cut down day was yesterday. And so all the rosters are still being finalized. Players are getting picked up, are getting cut and everything, and getting signed and traded. But I saw Zach Taylor mention today that he first said, he's going to play week 1, and then now he's off in the sidelines. It's like, well, now I'm not so sure. So now he's putting the pressure to them. The owner of the Bengals doesn't fold, and he's a guy that really the only person that he was going to fold to, I believe, is Joe Burrow because he is the savior of that franchise. But
but you really got to look at like the team where the players at.
Yeah,
a team like San Francisco, they run first, pass secondary. But Ayuk is the upside of everything they're trying to build. They need him there. He's proven that he can run the system. He's going to produce at a high level. He doesn't need as many targets. Now, if they pay him, they'll probably up his targets, and his numbers will probably go up. So he'll probably be right there in the mix. The fact that he's coming into that rookie deal, yes, go ahead and get him out the way. McCaffrey, to me, is overpaid. He's been injury prone until he got to San Fran. But we'll see going into this year.
I
But
think
he's the only
that's
running back to get that. Now, as far as Dallas, if you've been a Dallas fan all your life, y'all asses know Jerry Jones don't negotiate too soon. He gonna wait till week 2 days before, 2 hours before kickoff, be like, all right, go ahead and sign him. That's how he's always done it. Besides Tony Romo, the weakest quarterback in Dallas franchise history, he ain't have no problem giving Tony his money. Everybody else, he play hard.
I'm not going to get into the Romo discussion, but I saw Clint Sterner start a Thanksgiving game, so we're gonna walk that back just a little bit. And matter of fact, off of that, and him being a Cowboy, he is in the media right now, and I was surprised, but I was like, I don't know how he's there, but I hear what you're saying. That's literally the only time I remember a higher profile player going and doing the deal early. I know that some offensive linemen have done it, like La'el Collins, and I'll say actually more high profile. Tyron Smith signed that extremely long deal. That deal just ended, I want to say, last year. I know they may have extended it a year or so, and now he's no longer with the team just because of his injury concerns. And you're right about that one. They wait to the last minute. I'm glad someone that's not in the market and not a Cowboy fan mentioned that. And that's why I was saying, when Mr. Bill was saying, I was like, it's gonna get done. I wish it would get done sooner, because you got two other players that I would love to see get done. But at this time, I can clearly tell maybe that gets done during the season. I don't think Parsons gets done until next offseason.
Yeah, Parsons not getting done next offseason.
They're gonna wait, and they're gonna drag it out, and hopefully he shows up to camp. I mean, his ass don't show up anyways in preseason. But I want to address these. I see in the comment section. I appreciate y'all for checking this out, everybody. I see Lost in Translation mentioned overpaid, and I mentioned, obviously, Trey, you mentioned overpaid as well. I need y'all to put in the comments why you think he's overpaid, and obviously he wasn't showing up. You could have just stalled him out and not had him come. Who do you think is worth that? Because my thing is, and I'm gonna say this until y'all stop saying people are overpaid. I used to work at the stadium, and I'm aware of the prices, because you know, as a fan, you want to go to games. I see what you have to pay for parking. I see what you have to pay for the ticket, and I see what you have to pay for the food. That's all overcharged over there. That's all overcharged. So their players, and let's not talk about, not to mention the gambling money, and the TV money. The players know this, and they are aware of this. They have to get their cut and their fair shake. So whether you feel they're overpaid or not, you have to get your cut. Because my thing is, we're not gonna go back to tickets being, $100, and hot dog is $5, or we're not going back to them days. We're the days where the deal is in the billions, so the players have to be compensated. So until they walk that back, you're not gonna see the salaries. But I just want to know, who do you think is worth that money? And do you think Jefferson's not worth that money? Like, I just want an explanation for it. I'm always intrigued by that.
All of them are worth the money. They're all in the top 4 or 5 receivers in the league. Go ahead and pay them. Think about it. The Giants gave Daniel Jones all that money. He's not even starting. That's not even a big deal. He's a scrub quarterback. He's not a starting quarterback. But they gave him the money. Let Saquon go to Philly. Look out for Philadelphia in the East.
Trey, it has everything to do with the size of the contract. What I'm saying is, we never criticize the owner. My thing is, I have a problem with sports, and then we force on yes, the player is getting $34 million, so we vilify him and say, oh, he's overpaid, but we never say the Glizzy's too much. We never say the parking. I feel like we focus too much on what they make, and that's what the owners want. They want you to focus on that. They use that as a tool in the media to push you to force on a player to bang on them, and especially if they don't perform, and, oh, he's overpaid, he's this, he's that, he's a bum. I don't think he's overpaid. I feel like, okay, Jefferson has the numbers in the resume. He should not have been paid more than Jefferson. But all the other receivers that you see listed below him on the pay scale, the only other one that I can say that is definitively better than him right now in 2024 is Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. Every other receiver that is listed, you can make an honest debate about whether Lamb is on that, is either at the same at minimum, which I'll say Chase. I respect Chase and say, because I've seen great things from him. I will say at minimum, Chase is on the same level as Lamb. The other receivers, he's better than AJ Brown. He's better than Devontae Smith. He's better than
my thing. That's my thing.
Better than all of those players listed. He's better than Brandon Ayuk. He's better than all of those guys. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Trey. I gotta say it. He's better than Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin wishes on his best day. he could be CD Lamb.
That's what I think. Is Amon St. Brown overpaid? Is St. Brown overpaid? Is Tyreek Hill overpaid? Is Jefferson overpaid?
No.
I mean, you can go like it. People, I don't know how people can really just say this receiver is better than that receiver because it all depends on the quarterback. Like me being a Texans fan, I know about how great a receiver Andre Johnson was. He just didn't have the quarterbacks that some of these other his elite peer receivers had. So that can definitely affect your production. But I can put them as tiers. And I could say right now, Lamb is on the tier as Hill. So and it's a passing league. Receivers are going to get paid. I don't know why everybody they get so. It seems like people just get frustrated when a receiver. It's like you definitely see it with a quarterback. It's like you damn near got to be a Hall of Fame quarterback to get elite money, and it's only one real Hall of Fame quarterback right now in the league, and that's the one who the back-to-back Super Bowl champion. But with receivers, if they make their quarterback better, like in this case, Lamb is one of the primary reasons Dak had a successful regular season. Jefferson, as good as he is, he gets paid as he did because they know they don't. He had a lot of his numbers with Cousins. Cousins are no longer there. So I think that was a way of Minnesota to be like, hey, we still trying to figure out our quarterback situation. Nah, it definitely is. It's just a rookie they just picked up is hurt. You know, we'll pay you, but we also want to pay you extra so you can stay with us. Because a receiver be like, man, y'all don't have. I don't want to go backwards per se and go put a rookie quarterback or something. I want to go to a QB that I have a chance to win a title with. So that's why Jefferson got paid, you know, with his talent and his situation. So they're going to get paid. But Lamb, I believe he definitely deserves his money. It's a market. The market determines a player's value. I mean, I don't know what's so hard about to understand most about that. It's just the market will determine how much a player gets paid.
Hey, I'm gonna dictate and go to the other news that they made, but Trey, I see you say I got a funny one for you. You said you don't go to the games. Problem solved. Do you watch the games? Because the TV deal, because only I want to say about 8% of fans actually ever go to a game. So I'm in that percentage. I've been to multiple games. So yeah, I've contributed to that, but I found a deal on I always find a deal on my dang tickets. So hey, I'm always feel like I'm gonna come out on top. But the TV deal is large, so you're still putting the money in all the pockets if you do that and contribute. So it's like I feel like it's a losing battle. I don't get into it as far as the stakes, but I see the loves in here. He said, "How is Jefferson?" I would say Jefferson came out of the back out of the same draft class. Jefferson came out and has been a stalwart and has just been an elite receiver from day one. Lamb, we got elite receiver this year. We got some showings of it the year before. And so he kind of was on ascension, where it was just like if you draw the receivers up in that draft class, Jefferson is clear. It's a little bit of a drop, and then it's Lamb, and then it's the other guys. You know, and that's kind of how it goes. And he was taken, and Lamb was taken before Jefferson, like a couple of picks before.
But still, their production on the field is one of the tops on their team.
Yeah,
one of the tops in their division. So if we ain't really got no running game, we got to throw to you. Okay, if you can catch him, then you doing your job. I mean, that's a receiver. He's supposed to catch and get as many yards as he can. Even in some situations, what team is that? Even where the quarterback ain't top tier, the quarterback is going to go to that favorite receiver, the one that's the man on the team they can catch. That's just
that's
the way
Vikings. That's the Vikings.
And now look at Jefferson. They're going to rely heavier on him with whatever quarterback comes in there. So
they gave him that money. So because I'm pretty sure when they lost, he saw Cousins leaving. He'd be like, damn, I don't want to stay here now. I know my chances of winning has gotten slimmer. So Minnesota be like, hey, yeah, we see this. We want to, hey, as for you to stay with us. You know, I think if this type of money was available back in the past, I think the Texans probably would have done the same thing with Andre Johnson. But Andre was quiet. Andre, he was not that. He wasn't a hard to please dude at all. So he may have not been in the same boat.
He was ultimately professional.
Yeah, he was. So, but you know, you got St. Brown in Detroit. He getting paid. So the players will get paid what their team, if there's a fixture on their team,
Yeah.
then and people just act like you could just replace them that quickly. Like, no, man, it's not that easy to replace elite receiver.
No, it's not.
I mean, hell, as a Cowboys fan as well, the Cowboys try to do this both times. I saw them try to do running back by committee. It did not work out. I tried to see them do like a receiver by committee. It did not work out. That was the main reason they traded to go get Amari Cooper. Elite receiver changes how your quarterback plays. If he's a good quarterback, he'll make that quarterback more of a Pro Bowl type quarterback.
Yes.
If he's a young quarterback, he'll make that quarterback a better quarterback to where his confidence will get better, and then his game may ultimately improve. Because sometimes with receivers and young QBs, and Jefferson probably going to see this with the Vikings. Young QBs tend to wait for their receivers to get open. They wait. They want to see this space. In the NFL, as soon as that DB is on your back or on your back shoulder, you open. You give the ball. I remember Dak used to do that. He used to wait, wait, and he used to throw the ball and it would be too late. That's why they went to go get Amari Cooper, because of his route running ability. He could cause separation with his routes. Well, Justin Jefferson has the same ability. So he's gonna improve their young quarterback. It was supposed to be JJ McCarthy, but whenever he gets back next season, so the team is going to pay their receiver what they're worth. So every receiver, the quarterback, any star player, because unless you just a team that's very good in drafting, the Cowboys are, but they not good in other stuff. That's why they fails be at. But if a team is so confident they can draft another player of that caliber or somewhat near that caliber, they may let him go. Hell, you saw only one that you seen let a pretty much perennial Pro Bowl receiver go as the Chiefs, because they got the one and only 15 back there throwing the ball. They know he's a force multiplier. He's gonna multiply his receiver staff. They struggled last year, but they still was able to get it done, really because they rode the back of their defense. But Tyreek Hill, his status is so elite. You see what he's doing right now with Tua. So if you're an elite receiver, you're going to get paid, because you're going to raise the quality and the performance of your quarterback. So I don't know what to tell people. Players going to get paid.
Players are gonna get paid, and it's just. But I want to segue to what you mentioned about, say running backs and running back out committee. I want to link to the other signing the Cowboys made. They signed Dalvin Cook to their practice squad. It's a thing where he worked out. The news started to leak out that he was going to come and fly in town to work out. He flew in town, and like I always tell people, when it comes to any team, but especially the Cowboys, if they wanted you, when you come in for that workout, they're going to get that deal done. You're normally going to leave with a deal. And he was able to get signed to the practice squad. I'm not sure if he's going to be available for week 1. I haven't seen any other roster moves that they've made. So for right now, the 53 is set. He is on the practice squad. So he's got a certain amount of elevations before he has to be active for the entire season. The only thing about that is I'll say is he's 29. And I know that everyone will say, well, Derrick Henry was 21 and he just had a great season. Hey, man, did you see him how he looked with the Jets last season? Did you see how he looked, when he was with Baltimore during the playoffs? And it's just one of those deals where it's like, I see that they should have gotten younger at running back. And then it's also telling you, because I see you smiling there, Trey Ferg, hey, man, if they thought that they had the answer in the running back room, there's no reason to bring Cook in. I don't think Zeke is the answer. I think Rico Dowdle has some ability, but I won't bank on that. I like Deuce Vaughn, but I won't bank on that fully. So it's just like, and obviously don't really believe at this point Zeke is going to fully get it done. Now you add Dalvin Cook into the mix. I still think that the best running back that they could find, they could have found younger guys, but I feel like it's a move that needs to be made during the season. I'm not saying that it won't work out. I'm just saying, just like I feel with Zeke, I think it's unlikely. So I'm going to go to you next, Trey Ferg. What do you feel about the move? How do you feel about the Cowboys and how they're going to be able to run the football with their running back situation?
I mean, I think plays right into what they was doing with Zeke and Pollard. I think Cook still has the speed. You know, he's not expensive now that he's, you know, sort of as football language, he's reached this prime. I think Dallas is a better team overall for him. I think he's going to be able to really exploit teams with his ability to catch out of the backfield. And Dallas has receivers per se. They, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a good move. Zeke, I don't know what Zeke is playing for. It's like he's just out there, you know, he ain't still got that fire that he used to have. But I think it'll be a good mix for Dallas if they utilize it correctly. Dalvin Cook needs to get outside them tackles and utilize his ability. You can't have him running off the 2 and 4. You know, you got to get him outside them tackles, man. So he can catch. I think using both him and Zeke would benefit Dallas. Just me, you know, but
Okay.
I think the Cowboys, they should have picked up what's his name, Henry.
yeah, but why didn't they draft? Did they draft a running back?
No,
No.
the
You
thing
got to
is,
draft him.
They
Second
kept
round.
Rico Dotto and brought back in Zeke, and now they
yeah,
just
the
brought
players
back
that
in
they
Cook.
targeted, they were targeting, and if you look at the draft, a lot of the running backs went in the fourth round, and they could have gotten a guy in the fourth round, but they traded for damn Trey Lance before the season, before the start of the regular season last year, and that was their pick. And it was one of those deals where it's like, are you going to trade back into the draft because you know that you lost a lot of people, so you could trade back into the draft, but they didn't want to do that. They didn't trade back into the draft, so they went through the draft without a running back, and then they signed Zeke after the draft. And it was one of those deals where it's just like, I don't like that move. They needed more juice in the room. And I don't know if Cook has enough juice left. And it's one of those deals I was talking with some of my friends, and they were like, well, and I was, hey, Zeke has leadership. He can block. I was like, he can block. He can bring leadership. But I need somebody that's going to give me 4.5 to 5 yards of carry, break a few big runs, and really scare a defense. And the thing is, you can hear the linemen talk about it. They'll always say, I'd rather get the back that's quicker through the hole because hey, I don't have to hold it as long. You hold the block longer, you're more propensity to get called for holes. And I'm worried about that. Like, are the backs the Cowboys have going to be able to hit through the hole and explode? And say that Cook is in good shape. I'll give everything a chance to look at it and see what it works like. I just feel like overall, once I saw Zeke change the number, I was just like, yeah, man, this is fool's gold. You guys are trying to bring back a fan favorite and change the number and sell some jerseys. I'm not stupid. I'm not, so it's like I'm hoping that and this is crazy if you think about this about 3 or 4 years ago. If you see, hey, Elliott Cook on the same team, you're thinking that's crazy, but that's how fast it goes for running backs. So I'm hoping it is what I saw from the offensive line from the center. He is Cooper Beebe. He's a guy that's nasty up front. He's a guy that at the college level was moving people. When I've seen at the pro level, he's moving guys. He just got to get the snapping down. The left tackle Guyton, I didn't expect that from him. He's powerful. Tyler Smith, one of the best guards in football. Zach Martin, one of the best, still one of the best in football. And Terrence Steele, the right tackle, he's better as a run blocker. He's back healthy, and he's making things happen. So I'm confident that they can run it. I don't know who's going to run through the hole. I want to welcome to the show, Trey. What's going on?
What's good with y'all, fellas?
What's up, man? They don't got
I'm
nobody
good,
that
man.
can run through the
Football
hole
almost
right
here,
now,
bro.
man.
I'm doing good. How are you, man?
I can't complain. Here y'all talking about Dallas, so I came to hate.
I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I don't want to put a disclaimer, but I promise we're not trying to make this a Cowboys show. It's just right before, this week's show, they just happened to be making the news with the contract, which was talked about all summer long with him and Dax. And then one topic, and Trey, I'll let you speak on what we've been talking about with the receivers and whatnot. But the next topic is Cowboys, but it's dealing with the words that Jerry Jones said recently. So Trey, I'll let you hear your thoughts on the receiver debate and whatnot, and then we'll talk about the words. 'Cause I think we'll talk about when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, y'all real Skip Bayless right now. With all the Cowboys. No. Look, there's certain positions to me in the professional game that I think deserve to be paid, right? And I honestly think they deserve to be overpaid, right? And to me, they typically weigh between 265 pounds and 350 pounds. Them big boys up front, I think they deserve the money. Personally, that's just my personal feeling. And if I was a GM of a team, that's how I would build every team, is building with the guys up front. And those would be the guys I would really be shelling that money out to. When I go back and go look at these Super Bowl winning teams, because that is the goal, is to win a Super Bowl. When I look at these teams, I'm not seeing elite status receivers on these Super Bowl winning teams. So that tells me that I don't necessarily need a guy who's making $30 million a year to win. Now, I'm not saying you don't need good receivers. Obviously, you need serviceable receivers. But do you need a guy that's making $34 million a year? I don't know. I don't know. And I look at Justin Jefferson, I'm like, yeah, he's making a ton of money, but could that money be spent elsewhere and make that team better? Possibly, but I understand that the game is about getting your check, so I get it. I understand where the receivers are coming from, but if I were an owner or if I was in the front office, I would have to take a long look at this. Obviously, the stats for CeeDee Lamb speak for themselves over the last 4 to 5 seasons, right? He's been superb. I can't argue that. I won't argue that. He had a record-breaking season last year, right? I won't argue that. But the question is that $34 million is that the edge? Is that going to put you over the edge and get you into the NFC Championship game and potentially the Super Bowl? And I don't believe that it will. I believe that the money could have been spent elsewhere. That's why I believe they overpaid.
Well, Trey, I understand what you saying on that part, but that formula, I believe, is a team by team basis. That's the frustrating thing about the Cowboys. They don't spend money. But the one thing the Cowboys will do is spend money on their own players in-house. They will not go out really and spend money on free agency and stuff like that, and they, on respective, may command top dollars. They rather draft those positions. And they've been having success drafting recently, but for this particular team, pretty much, if you want to make money on the Cowboys, you got to come on the team, produce while you're on the team, and then they don't really want to let you go. But you're not going to be a free agent and come to them and expect them to pay you the money that you want. They'll literally, like they do all the time, they'll literally let you go somewhere else, and they will wait far down the off season and pick up somebody on the cheap. That's why we're looking at Dalvin Cook right now. I'm like, Dalvin Cook damn near go retire for all I care right now. I wanted him to. I was interested in Cook last year because I thought he still had some juice in him. And then when I saw him, it was like, I don't really get the move. I guess they're trying to get that. But in this particular case, they will pay their players as if the ones that's on their rosters. You hear Jerry talking about all in. He's not really talking about what was revealed. He's not talking about all in as gathering all these other players from outside in the free agency. He's basically saying all in and taking care of the dudes that's already on his squad. So in this case, I understand. Yeah, you build up your line. You can build up that with free agency or draft. I think a lot of more successful teams that are able to build it via the draft, but that can get hella expensive. I mean, we're talking about the 3 most expensive positions on the field: quarterback, receiver, and defensive end. So it's going to be hard to really get those players, just line up your roster with, that you're going to have to draft them anyway. So that's what the Cowboys do. They draft their lines. And they, especially offensively, they've been fairly successful with that. Defensively, they can get the ends. They struggle with the tackles. So we're trying to see, what's going on with that. That's why they get the ball ran through them. They struggle with tackles and linebackers.
Yes, linebackers.
So, yeah, man. That's what happened with Green Bay. And once they found out
you didn't like Van Der Esch?
He was good. He was good. He just kept dealing with his neck. His neck. That's why he had to retire early. But he was a good tackler. Yeah.
So that's one of those things where you got some success early. It was a little bit fool's gold. But I'll give you this credit. I'll give you credit for that. You didn't just say just not pay on the play. If you're going with the guys in the trenches, if it's one of those deals where you want to shift the $34 million and say, hey, we're not going to give you what we're either going to trade you and get a pick and probably You know, but then again, is you trading the pick, you're probably going to take a receiver and just reset the clock, and then use your other first round picks. But the thing is, with the Cowboys, we've been saying for a while, hey guys, you got to fix it up front. As soon as they let Tyra go, it's like, okay, you know, which I hate that they telegraphed it, but it looked like it's working out again. We get rid of this player, and the first round pick is like, I wonder what it's gonna be. No left tackle because you don't sign one in free agency. You picked up a guy in free agency first round. The guard is a first rounder. You got your center in the third round. Your right guard, you got him in the first round, you know, a decade ago, and then you got an undrafted free agent at the right tackle that's worked out for you. So they'll pay the guys in the trenches. And I want to say, still got a deal. You redid the deal for Martin last year. And now who's coming up is Big Tyler. Tyler Smith coming up, Fort Worth native. And I think he's going to deserve his money. I think he's going to go from second team to first team All-Pro. But I can say here, you can take some of that money and shift it to defensive tackle. So I can hear your point on that. I appreciate you coming up and speaking on that one. So, Trey, if you want to get in on this, you can. If not, we're going to go to – I'm going to call this next part of the segment, Old Man, Get Off My Lawn. And it's just like, look, Jerry Jones. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Trey.
No, I was just saying, watch your mouth.
No. I'm gonna give you the tone for what he said. So Jerry Jones basically did an interview, and shout out to Clarence E. Hill Jr. Shout out to Chill. He left the Fort Worth Star Telegram, and he had an interview with Jerry sitting in the wings for his new platform. So shout out him for that play. That he got a lot of I know he got a lot of views on that. I know I checked it out. But for him to get a Jerry Jones interview and for him to defiantly be putting his foot down that I'm the only MFer that can do this job and F this and I'm this, and you know what that was, Cowboy fan? I want you to tell you what that was. That anger that you heard, he's heard that you've been upset. He's heard that you didn't show up to Oxnard. He's heard these different things that the real fans are upset. Yeah, fans still gonna buy tickets, but there's a lot of fans that can't buy tickets, so it don't matter to them. They might not buy a shirt. They are upset. And Jerry is being, he's 81, so he's just like
he'll be 82 soon.
Yeah, 82 soon. So that was him snapping off on that. And believe Clarence said there was no Johnny Walker Blue in the making of that interview. That was straight him, just his thoughts raw and mad. And it's one of those things where it's like, I listened a little bit, I read it, and I was just like, dude, you don't get it. You don't care. You don't care to get it. You're dug in. And I think tongue in cheek a little bit. Well, not really. He knew that deal was getting ready to get done. He knew that the season was starting, so he was like, I'm still going to put this out there before the deal is done so they can hear my wrath. And nobody can do this job like me. And it's like, yeah, nobody can go as long as you have, without being at the very top of the league, success. Almost every team, and now include the Lions. It was in the NFC. It was you and the Lions that had not been in the SEC. You, the Lions, Washington. Sorry, Trey. That had not been to the conference championship in the recent years, in almost 30 years, and now it's just two teams left because Detroit just did it. So like, yeah, you get deals done. You have the team is worth $10 billion, but you don't sign players outside of that. We understand that you're going to sign back your own, but that's the frustration of Cowboy fans. And I know that other teams, I know Trey probably saw that article and was just grinning like a chess cat, because it's like, you just know, goddamn, man, they still got to deal with this old man that don't want it. What is it? You can come prying from my cold, dead hands. It's basically what they said. That GM title is not going to nobody but Steven, and Lord help us when that happens. But we'll want to get in on this next because it's frustrating.
Go ahead, Trey Ferd.
I mean, as much as people hate Dallas, there's probably more people that like Dallas all over the country. And Jerry Jones understands this. He understands the dynamics. Think about it. He's been probably the vocalist owner in the last 25 years of football. He's involved in everything. And he's not going to relinquish that title. He's gotten older and he's still fighting like hell. Goddamn it, I'm the GM. Don't be talking to me about when I'm stepping down. When I step down, y'all gonna be having a old gathering on the 50-yard line in Dallas Stadium. with some flowers. That's where he's stepping down. But I think, a lot of Jerry Jones, he just talk. He understands the media. He's going to play his players. Don't rush. He learned with Emmitt Smith. I'm not going past 2 games, so we can go 2 weeks before the season. He's going to do that. He's going to do Dak the same way. Ain't going to be nobody coming out better than Dak. So he going to play the long ball like he's been doing. No, did he? He ain't going to pay Dak. Now, the problem is he going to have to pay Parsons and Dak. That's where he going to mess up. He's going to have to play both of them because Parsons, he can't afford to let him go. You got to sign him. So
I thought if they were going to choose 2 out of 3, I thought it was going to be Parsons and Dak, and unfortunately, CD was about to walk. But obviously, he get paid. So yeah, all 3 of them may get paid, but we'll see.
No loss. He ain't getting traded. No.
Nah, he not. If they traded, they're gonna get hell of 5 picks for him.
They're gonna be 3.
So my thing with Jerry, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it on the show, because basically it's not just Cowboys fans you hear this from, but even NFL fans. NFL fans always saying, Cowboys, you're not gonna go nowhere until Jerry steps down. Cowboys fans, some of them can care less, but a lot of them say we're not gonna win anything until Jerry steps down. So here comes Jerry's, suddenly you always hear Jerry talk. He got a show on a local radio station. You always hear him talk. But never have you heard him talk so defined about when it comes to being the GM and him sticking as the GM. So, this is like he over there saying that he doesn't believe there's nobody who could come into be the Cowboys GM and do what he can do. So he said all that. My thing is, I'm looking at the outside in as a GM, and it's yes, Jerry is a GM, but if you follow the Cowboys, it's really a 3-headed monster. So it's not Jerry is just a face. His son is doing the contract talks. Will McClay is doing the draft picks. So there's a whole system up there, but Jerry's the face. So he's the GM. He got the title of GM. And
Lady Eloise.
Yeah, so he technically, for the most part, every year you look at the Cowboys roster, they do a pretty damn good job putting the team together. It's just the execution on the field that gets them in trouble. You can't, if there's something that needs to be done or a player that needs to be acquired, most likely Jerry will do it. Now it's changing a little bit since his son is really taking over this cap. Steven is strict with his money, and that's why now Trey, what I was talking about, how they don't sign free agents anymore. That's Steven Jones. Well, he got that. Jerry Jones. If you remember back in the 90s, early 2000s, Jerry was quick to plop down some millions for a star player, whether it's on his team or free agency. Steven Jones changed all of that. So, but if there's a player on the squad that when it comes closer, he's the one who's going to close the deal. So, I mean, a GM, I can look at him and say, okay, I see you put down on paper a good enough squad that can compete. But then, okay, I said, I can't really criticize that per se, but now I look at the culture of the team. It's not like the culture is bad, but the culture is safe. You got a father, son, and a dude who they never getting rid of, Will McClay, who already turned down GM jobs to stay with the Cowboys as this special draft. I forgot his official title. They're not going nowhere. And you have a GM. A lot of times, if a team is not doing good, the GM is one of the first ones to go. Well, the Cowboys, Jerry, he's not going to fire himself. Steven Jones not going to go nowhere. So the culture and this whole safe feeling on the squad, I think that's the thing that needs to really change, because a lot of dudes, you content. You're not feeling like the job is on the line to produce. Hell, you own the team and you make the call, so you're not going nowhere. So it was just something that when he said it, like I say, those NFL fans and Cowboys fans was both saying the Cowboys are not going anywhere until he stepped down. And then all of a sudden, and specifically, Jerry addresses that and say, I'm not going any damn well. I'm going to be here. And like Trey say, only time Jerry relinquished the GM title and owner is when everybody gathered up at AT&T Stadium on the 50-yard line, and he's sitting right there in some brown box, unfortunately, and everybody coming around there saying they 11 words. And then you're going to have a whole procession that's going probably from Midlothian up here all the way to Frisco somewhere. So I don't know. That's the only time that he will say goodbye. It will be forcefully taken from him. Other than that, while that man is alive, Jerry Jones is going to be the owner, the president, and the GM for the Cowboys until the day his head touches the ground. What you got? What you got, Trey? I seeing a man of many faces over there.
Listen. If anybody knows anything about bad ownership, it's me. I mean,
yours was different. Yours was different. That was a whole different level over there.
Right. And I'm also not saying that Jerry Jones has done, as far as I'm concerned, he's done an incredible job with that organization since he took over back in the 80s, 70s, 80s. So 89. Yeah, he's done. I mean, from where they were to where they are now as an organization, he's done well. And I don't have a problem with the players that whatever the process or protocol it is that the players y'all pick. You pick good players. I question your ability to pick good coaches. Because one of the better coaches you have, we stole him from y'all. And Dan Quinn, we stole him from y'all. I mean, he's going to go down in history for 28-3. But other than that, he's a pretty fine coach. And we got him from y'all. So I'm not completely sure that the issue with Jerry is his ability to choose players. I think that a lot of it is that he can't get the right people in the coaching positions that he needs to do the things the way he wants it done, or maybe they're doing it the way he wants it done, and maybe that's not working either. I don't know. I'm not particularly sure about it, but it's his team. He own it. He can do whatever. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. I mean, he ain't got to relinquish a position until he sees fit. But I will say this though, I'm gonna give y'all some honest truth. There's something really refreshing about getting the old out and getting the new in. I'm telling you, around here in the DMV, it's a different kind of buzz. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know if it's, roster hype, because that happens all the time, right? You get these rosters. There's a lot of hype. We went through this with RG3. We got Jaden Daniels. We went through the same thing with RG3. Could be a replay, but there is something different about when you get a new ownership group or you get a new GM. We got the GM from San Francisco. When you get a new GM, there is something refreshing about it. Obviously, over time, we will tell. They got to go play the games, obviously, right? They got to go play the games. That's when we will actually know whether it was worth it or not. But so far, I mean, is he really that bad, or is it just the schemes and the coaching is not good enough?
No, unfortunately, Trey, we don't have a scandal that can get him out of there.
But you can't. But when you look at Dallas,
some Cowboys cheerleaders to get into some funny
season.
No, that's happened already. That's happened already. And Rich Dalrymple, the former PR guy, he already took the fall for that and got up out of there. And Jerry, that in a child case, unclaimed child case, he's beating all that. He's beating all them cases. John Gotti.
But when you look at Dallas, they're not like most other teams. When is the last time Dallas had a losing record?
2022, was it 2020?
2021.
The year, was it 20? No, 2020.
The year that got hurt.
The year that got hurt, Mike McCarthy's first year.
Okay.
So basically,
you take the year he got hurt now, right? Now go back again before that time. When was the last time they had a losing season?
I think the year that the year that they traded for Amari Cooper, that was a bad year for him.
Okay, so
we made the playoffs that year. 2018, they made the playoffs. It goes back to Colin Cowherd gets a lot of things wrong, but he said this: the only time the Cowboys have a bad record is if their quarterback gets hurt. If they have a healthy quarterback, they might not make the playoffs, but they're going to be in position and in contention for the playoff spot. So I get what you're saying, right?
So think about it. Compared to most teams, do you just let that all go and take a chance on somebody who may get you 3 or 4 wins? Or do you try to say, okay, listen, I need to add one more piece? And that's why I think Dallas doesn't do a good job. They don't add those pieces that they missed the year before. They just let, well, we wait till 2 days before kickoff and shit. We'll sign somebody. But instead of just focusing on that early, getting those pieces, whether it's in the drafts or, like you said, he don't really trade for nobody, so it's basically in the draft. So why not fill those plugs in? And I think that could get them on the hump, because right now in Dallas, 21st century, y'all should be looking at Super Bowl or bust.
You
This
know,
is always the
I'll say
players
this.
they pick up.
I'll say this. I would combine with both the trades, but what Trey said and Coach Bird, Trey, if I could put both of y'all what y'all said together. The coaching aspect that I'm gonna land the play here, because I know we got to get to Coach Prime. Is this? If y'all ever heard the story about Sean Payton, Pete Sean Payton, and his affinity for the Cowboys, and the Cowboys, of course, loving him, and that was where he coached under Parcells. So if you don't know the story, and if those of you watching, basically what happened was this: they're drinking buddies, and for a while, Peyton lived in South Lake, and that's where his kids were stationed. But he coached in New Orleans. Obviously, he's a rich man. He can get wealthy man. He can come back and forth, whatever. Well, there was a meeting there was a meeting one night, and it was just like Peyton basically, long story short, wrote what he wanted down as a contract on paper, and Jerry Jones laughed at it. He laughed at it, was like, "There's no way in hell I'll pay the coach that much." And that's the thing. He's got that money. Obviously, the Cowboys worth $10 billion, and there's other business ventures. He's there for a reason. He doesn't want to value and pay some things, and those very same things are what may be holding him back. He doesn't want to go out and get the no coach. He doesn't want to take a risk and get the young coach, the young coordinator, the guy from, the McVay tree or whatever, or the young defensive mind. He doesn't want to pay the money to get that. Once you show you're good, he will pay you. Dan Quinn was handsomely compensated as a coordinator. He was handsomely compensating Kellen Moore, fully as a coordinator before he let him go. And Trey, what you said is this: they will focus too much in the offseason. If we have an issue the year before, they're going to focus on that and double down. But they so focused on that, they only want to draft and get guys that are cheap and fit their way. They don't want to say, hey, let's make a splashy move. That guy fits what we want. If you look at it, Mike McCarthy, from what I heard, he has made sure that the practices were tougher, trying to build instill toughness on the team. Dan Quinn, he wanted to go with the hybrid look of the linebacker, and he had, Marquise Bell from FAMU. Shout out to the ACPU guys making it in the pros. He was a safety, converted him to linebacker. He's playing full-time linebacker, and Shawnee can tell you we still have nightmares for that Buffalo game and him getting just the guard just destroying him. Look at Trey's face. That's how we felt, Trey. It was we wanted to cry, but he just getting destroyed. They had went and got real big boy linebackers, legitimate guys. Eric Kendricks, once again, out of the oldie but goodie bag, solid. They went and got, out of injury, they have from UT, Demarion Overshawn. He's that linebacker flying around making plays, doing good. He's a real size linebacker. Maris Leofow from Notre Dame, they did sign him, and they do have a few other linebackers that are less heralded that they've been able to pick up and make the roster. The linebackers are now not the issue. That's what they still didn't do. They didn't trade nose tackle until they got Linval Joseph, and they traded for Jordan Phillips. So you got some more beef in the interior. Mozzie Smith is still there, but he's a guy that he's the traditional. You ever know that big guy that y'all play and you be like, oh man, I needed a guy like him. He only good for 3 plays, coach. You got to get him to the sideline, get him some water. He's tired. That's Mozzie Smith, and he's coming off the shoulder surgery. I don't know how that stops you from being in condition, but he's not in the best condition. And I want to say it's going to be probably next year when you see him make more of an impact. But I think that they've solved some things, but now they got to hold that running back. They're probably going to wait till next year's draft to solve running back. And that's the problem with the Cowboys in a nutshell for the last 28 plus years. But I know we got to get to Coach Prime. So, Shawnee, I'm going to let you go ahead and start this off because this is a good one. This is a good one. Go ahead and lead it off, Shawnee.
So you have, when Coach Prime made it to, became Colorado head coach last year, especially after they won their first game versus TCU. There was a lot of excitement. If you remember after that game, immediately after that game, he was asking the on-field reporter, no, I think it was during the post game, like, do you believe, do you believe, do you believe? And he really wouldn't answer a question until they acknowledged that they believed. And, they went on, when started 3-0 and whatnot. Then the bottom fell out for the team. They was losing. I think they lost like 4-6 straight, something like that. And so a lot of the excitement per se that started off last season died down. It kind of turned against them by the end of the year. And I believe last year, Coach Prime was always taking the criticism in stride. He was always saying, like, y'all talk about us now because, you're not going to be able to say the same thing once we on the other side. So that's how he was always taking. That's what I always heard from him last year. Fast forward this year, and apparently, this is up in Denver. So, I don't follow anybody, no reporter up in the Denver area or whatnot. But there's a columnist, and if you know anything, that I've been hearing a lot on the sports radio over the week. If you know anything about newspaper and writing and all that, there's a beat reporter who's just strictly, they report the team, no opinions. It's just straight dry. Whatever your assignment is, whatever team you're covering, that's all you do. And then there's columnists. Before all these opinionated TV shows came into existence, it was the columnists that the only ones who had the ability to give their opinions on certain matters when it comes to sports, when it comes, on newspaper and stuff. So it was this Denver columnist, what's his name, Dante? Sean Keeler.
Sean Keeler. Mm-hmm.
He's a columnist for the Denver Post. Apparently he was, and I was trying to find exactly what he was saying, but he made some comments that Prime deemed personal. And one of them I remember they was talking about, they brought him on the radio station on Sportsman, like they was interviewing him. One of the comments he called Prime was a false prophet.
Yep.
And okay, I can understand how Coach Prime would take that personally. But if you kind of go back to what I was mentioning before, how last year in the beginning of the season when he kept saying, do you believe, you believe, you believe? It doesn't surprise me that somebody else, okay, I guess, like I say, this is Denver Post columnist. So he's obviously around the area when the excitement was thick, when they was winning all these games, and how all of a sudden everybody, literally, even us nationally, we were seeing everybody flocking to Boulder going to these Colorado games. So and all of a sudden it started losing. So I guess it was kind of I don't want to say low blow, but maybe it is when you call him a false prophet after kind of piggybacking off of the stuff that Prime was saying early last year. So there was some other stuff like that. And then so fast forward again, Prime, he bans him from not coming to the press conferences, though. He can still show up there, but he can't ask Prime any more questions. And then to add to it, which is kind of like I don't want to say unprecedented move, but you don't see this too much. The university comes, they the one who really put out the statement, pretty much stamping that Keeler can no longer ask Prime questions at the press conferences. It's one thing you see coaches all the time. If they have an issue with this particular writer or something, they'll say, "Nah, I remember what you said about me. I don't want to answer no calls, no questions from you." You see that time to time on press, right there on the podium, right there on the spot. You see that. So that's nothing. It's really when the university, type out a statement and print it out, and they like, no, he said he don't want to talk to you, so we're gonna make it official. You cannot talk to Prime anymore. So when he came to the radio station, I'm hearing him, dude, like I say, it was a whole lot of people in excitement for Coach Prime last year in Colorado because he was taking the team and only won one game. It's not like they couldn't really do it. They just brought a lot of excitement to the area. But damn, man, I was listening to him, dude. One thing, if the media, if they feel like that you are coming after, which is kind of like ironic to me, but they feel like that you are coming at one of them, especially like a reporter or something, like a beat writer, a columnist or something like that, not really a media talking head, it's really a newspaper writer or whatnot. If they feel like you coming at one of them like kind of sideways, everything you pretty much many of the stuff that you will hear from the ones who are on TV, who are freely able to give their opinions, it's all gonna be negative. All gonna be negative. They're gonna come after you. They're gonna damn to make an example out of you. And I'm listening. I'm like, damn, man. Everything I'm hearing now with Coach Prime, it sound negative and whatnot. Hell, they were saying that it's even to the point where even in Colorado, it's almost like a fear mongering type thing going on. Like reporters, beat writers, they don't want to speak up because, like you remember last year,
it's racism.
When Prime fired the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But nobody really asked why. That Keeler did. He was the only one who did. He said when he asked why, everybody kind of looked at him funny. It's like, why you asking why? We fired him. That's all you need to know. And they doing their job. You fired this dude. Just why? Well, can you give an explanation of why you fired him? So, it was like some of the beat writers, again, they don't have the privilege to give opinions. If a team can literally kind of squash them and make it hard for their work to, they can pretty much be out of a job. So it was reports like that, words like that was being described about Prime and this new regime in Colorado. And I was like, damn, man, it's a complete 180 from how it was last year. He was on top of the world. Yeah, he slid a little bit, especially after that Oregon game. Started sliding a bit because they was losing games. But now with stuff that's been, I don't want to say happening, but some stuff that's been on the news about the program lately, and now you banning dudes from asking you questions at the press conference, it's going to be interesting to see they say it came off like you will soak up all the positive attention that you'll get from us. But as soon as we say something that it'll turn in that it's as far as a critique matter, you have an issue with it. So some people they were saying it was soft skin and everything. I'm like, damn, man, it's complete.
Sonny, do you take your family serious? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you take your religious beliefs serious? Yes. He's only speaking of football. Deion, I'm speaking in Deion in this regard. We've seen over the years, he's never really wavered that he has strong faith. He's said that. He's used that. And for someone, and I can understand how he would react calling me a false prophet just because me as a coach, I'm never going to be looking in front of my team and be like, yeah, we might not really have a good chance to win today, but, just go out there and play. No, we're going to go out here. We're going to win. For those who don't believe us, we're going to win. Get out of the damn way. Shut the hell up. That's all Deion was moving. He's only trying to motivate, but I think just in his immaturity as a coach in the light, he sort of speaks it from his lens. Like, God damn it, excuse me, but what I'm saying, instead of just saying, you know what, we'll just play it out on the field and let the players just decide the game. But to do that, it's a little disrespectful in a sense. And, because in today's sensitive world outside of Deion, even the school, I'm sure they saw him like, you can't really question a man's faith and say, Colin, he's just saying we're going to win the game. That's anybody to do. I don't know a coach in the league 0-62 and be like, well, we ain't good enough to win, so I don't think we're going to win no 2 games this year. It makes no sense. But the pen is mightier than the sword. That's all. And it's just those beat writers, they hang out, they all together. They can write disturbing stuff about you. They wouldn't do that about Nick Saban. They didn't do it about Bobby Knight when he was throwing chairs on the floor. He's still one of the greatest quarterbacks. But, I don't know. Deion just need to be quiet and let the games play. He just be quiet. Focus on football at this point because you see that it's going beyond football. It's going beyond. It's starting to get personal. So that's where it can get wonky for him as a coach because the school is not going to want that negative attention. He hasn't solidified his legacy yet in the college realm. Just be quiet.
One thing Colorado is appreciating right now is the money they're getting.
Yeah. But eventually, the way those people feel about it trumps the money. It trumps the money. He's a brother. They can let him go. We tried it for 2 years. It didn't work. They'll let you go.
And replace him with who?
But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. They'll just get that attention away from them and let somebody else do. They'll go back to being 2-12. Just to, I'm telling you, they won't. Yes, they will.
No, they won't. College is a business.
He has to win, though. He has to win.
College sports.
He has to win.
They like that money and they like the attention.
But he has to win.
Listen, Prime, no, he doesn't. Prime,
yes, he does. If he have a losing season, he might be out the door.
He already had a losing season.
Well, he have another one 2 in a row. He can be out the door. He will be out the door.
And I guarantee you, Prime isn't going anywhere.
Okay.
He's not going anywhere. Let me tell you why Prime isn't going anywhere.
Okay, he'll be out there.
Prime was brought in there to do one thing and one thing only: get eyeballs on Colorado.
No.
Mission successful.
Got to win.
Exactly what he's supposed to do.
That sounds good.
At the end of the day, what were the expectations? The team won one game before. What were the expectations? National championship in 5 years?
No.
That's ridiculous.
Nothing last year.
Ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous.
He's going to have to win.
Can I finish, bro?
He's going to have to win.
Can I finish? At the end of the day, Prime has to do what Prime has always done. Eyeballs, dollar bills. And he's been doing that his entire career. Eyeballs, dollar bills. I remember when he came here to Washington, I'm like, he's washed. He's done. Nobody cares. Eyeballs, dollar bills. That's all he's supposed to do. And what he's also supposed to do is create hype around his players. You're going to start seeing some drafted Colorado players. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. I don't think that he has to go 10-2 or 9-3 every season to get that done. And I don't think that the Colorado brass or even the Colorado money is really going to give a damn as long as the money is good at the end of the day. They just want what they can consider a competitive team. A team that they can put out there that can compete. And yeah, they'll beat some TCUs and they'll beat some Oregons and every once in a blue moon. But I never once thought in my mind this is a national championship program. Never. Before the Alabamas, before the Georgias, no. Are you kidding me? It's going to take some time. It takes time to build that.
So, Trey, do you believe that he's going to... It
may take him 6 seasons to build that. It's going to take some time.
I'm not looking, like you said, I'm not looking for a championship caliber, but in college football, bowl games are everything. He's going to have to be at least bowl eligible year 3, year 4. He's going to have to do that.
And do you need a winning record to play in a bowl game?
He needs to win it, 6 games? I think it's 6 games.
Do you need a winning record to play in a bowl game?
He's going to have to go to the bowl game is all I'm saying.
You need to be at least 500.
No, you got to be 6 and you got. But he needs to go. He has to go. Is all I'm saying. He has to go.
Trey Ferg, I see what Trey was saying. Before Prime got there, I think Colorado didn't have a winning season for damn near a decade. So they basically was used to existing at the bottom.
Well,
yeah, they was getting no attention compared to the early 90s when they actually won the title. So they know how it feels. And then they just fell down to the bottom. They down in the abyss. And they saw what Coach Prime was doing at Jackson State and how he was there and he led them to a SWAC title. Because you remember, Colorado hired Prime before they actually had the money to pay him. They didn't have the money yet. So income, his sons and Travis Hunter, JSU implants, and basically, even before the first game, just the hype and the attention that it was bringing Colorado like I said, they was at the abyss, and now you was literally at one point the most talked about team in the whole college football, even though you didn't do a damn thing. You know, you pissing off you pissing off other teams. Like one of them was Oregon, but pretty much Colorado was loving. I'm talking about Colorado as far as the administration. They was loving the attention. People was the hype was bringing fans to the stadium, filling the stadium. They was bringing, so it was money after money after money after money. I think that school, of course, you know, the AD or something. Well, I think the school will definitely appreciate that the team can do some winning if they get to that point. But if they see stuff like how it was last year, how their games will be sold out, the attention of media is high. If they can win a few more games, yeah, if you can win, because remember, their games now is on prime time. They was at the abyss. Now they getting prime time games. So I think you got to look at it. I understand, Trey Ferg, you a coach. You looking at it as from a football perspective.
He has to win.
Coaches are judged by they win-loss column. That's what determines them. Trey was bringing up a perspective because we're talking about a university. And, you know, university, it's no secret with universities and NCAA, they greedy. All they care about is money. That's all they care about. And now you literally have a potential opportunity for your school to make a whole lot of money and may not be having to do the most winning. So they're not expecting you over there getting attention like Alabama, and you nowhere near them.
But
so the school is like, we loving it.
Yes.
As a football head, you were like, dude, if you're not winning, how can you stay their head coach? But Colorado was like, hell, he bringing us billions of
was on college football game day. He
yes.
was on game day. I'm like,
exactly. But he was in the abyss. They never seen game day even threaten to even come to their school before.
But that's why I say what I said, because it all sounds good in year 1 and year 2. Yes, okay, he won. Year 3, year 4, ain't nobody coming to the game. They don't care.
That's what I'm saying. They have to stay winning a little bit.
But that's not true. All they got to do is get a top recruit. They bring in a new top recruit, and the web just starts all over again.
Yeah, they got to get in though. They got to bring in. I would say he has to stop relying on the transfer portal. So I know y'all mentioned a lot of points that I want to make. I was able to see, because I did see some of the titles of the articles. One of them, it was behind a paywall. Basically, they were behind paywalls. That's how it is in the newspaper game. I understand, get your money. I'm just going to read the headline. One of them was, Deion is that Colorado is talented and fast, but are they disciplined? So, that's a legit critique about the discipline. What I will say is not the legit critique is the whole thing about the profit. That goes back a long way with Deion, with how he lived his lifestyle. Then he, during his NFL career, he became a Christian. The only thing about that is, and maybe that's a critique of modern preachers as well. Hey man, some are very much about Christ, but some of them also you see about the materialistic. But the man that made must be the money. He may be about God, but he's still about the paper. He's still about you. We still see the flamboyance. I'm just pointing out there, But I'll say this, Shawnee, what you said about them, it has been less than 10 years. 2016 was their last winning season. But I'm going to give it to you like this. 2005, they were 7-6. Then after that, they didn't have another winning season until that season in 2016, in which they were 10-4. Then they went 5-7, 5-7, 5-7. The short year, they were 4-2. So it's a winning season, but that was COVID shortened. Then 4-8, 1-11, and then 4-8. So my thing is, the bar's not real high. The 90s is now walking through that door, in the words of Rick Pitino. Cordell Stewart, and you may not want Ray Caruth walking through that door, but that's another topic. And all the players that they had at those times. But if you can at least compete and get close to a bowl game, because one thing that is coming, and it's certainly sure, hey man, Shadour's going to the league. Travis Hunter's going to the league. And Deion at the college level has never not had his son as his coach. So he's got to find a quarterback that can come in with some talent, and he's got to start holding on to these recruits. The world of college does change, but his roster changes too much. And I will say some of the guys that he's getting, I'm not gonna lie to you, they are cast offs from other teams. Like one of the guys he got that I think is from his offensive line, which is one of the big problem, was a guy from Texas that was from Florida that he transferred in, and I was just like, yeah, that was a guy that Texas probably wasn't just chasing down because they kept a lot of their offensive linemen from a good offensive line class in 22. So it's just something where, hey man, they have to get it. They have to get the job done and get the wins. I'm tired of hearing about the talk of the controversies and things. I want to see the results. Johnny, I know you mentioned that they were going to lose to North Dakota State game one, so I was able to pull up those game odds. They are 9.5 point favorites against North Dakota State. I will also say this: the North Dakota State that we remember that when I used to work for the stadiums and do security in North Dakota State and won another championship, that same North Dakota State as it happened, they have changed coaches a few different times, and some other teams have won at the FCS level, and they are, they're still a power, but it's not the same. And I'll just say this: they are 9.5 point favorites to win that game, and then when they go at Nebraska, they are 6.5 point dogs, and then the only other game at Colorado State, which is a rivalry game, they're 7.5 point favorites. So then after that, you got Baylor at UCF, Kansas State, at Arizona. There's some games in here that they can win and they can surprise. Because the other thing is, it's not the pros, but with a quarterback like Shedeur, which I feel like he can light it up. This isn't the Big 12 that everyone thinks of, like where it's like everybody's just gonna light it up and no defense. Baylor's gonna play some defense. They got the old defensive coordinator that was at LSU, Dave Aranda. He is their coach, and he had them playing solid football. At the end of the season, they play Oklahoma State, who doesn't play a lot of defense, but they do have a great running game. They do have to play Utah, who they're used to, who they kept it close with, which even though Utah was a way better team, they are 7.5 dogs in that game. They go at Texas Tech. They got some games they can win. I can look at this schedule and I can see this team should be in a bowl game. I agree with Trey. Trey Burke. I agree with both of y'all. Trey Burke. Eventually, it's going to be, hey, we need the wins. The money is cool, the antics, but the money gonna go away because if the results aren't there. I'll say this: it is commonplace in college to suppress the local guys. It's in college place for you to throw around your muscle and say, "Hey, I'm the big dog. You got to do things the way I say. I need powder puff pieces, and if I think you're going out of line, I will ridicule you." Now, my thing is, as he wins more, he needs to be more open to criticism because that's just the game. And then the thing is, it's not as bad as what people think, like Shani mentioned. He publicly made a big fanfare about this. Coaches ban people all the time where you can't answer questions. Like you said, the other coaches can't. The other columnists and reporters from the Denver Post, which is the big dog around town, they can ask those questions. So it's kind of I won't say it's a much ado about nothing, but it's a lot of smoke and fanfare. And we've mentioned this the whole time, and not simply mentioned that they actually start their season tomorrow night. They start tomorrow night, but we're worried about talking about the columnists. So once again, he's still winning in that standpoint, but I need to see the wins on the field. And since the season does kick off, I'm willing to see, hey, they need to start fast last year. They need to start fast again. The only thing I'll say about Nebraska, them having a chance against that game, Nebraska starting a talented player, but they starting a true freshman, and you have a senior. You need to have your senior go on the road. And if they can win at Nebraska, even though Nebraska's trying to make their way back, just like Colorado, just not as far as a place, or hell, maybe it might be as far, or depending on your standards, to the Nebraska standard that we grew up on. If he can win those games and start off 3-0, now we're in the same place as last year. It's just that I don't want to. I just need the cockiness. It's Deion, so the cockiness is gonna stay. But I'm with you, Trey, Coach Burke. I need to see more wins, and I need to hear a little bit less talk. But
can I say this? I'm about to hop off. When I was in the military, every time we got a new general or a new colonel or a new commander of any sort, we already knew a lot of things about to get switched up. People gonna start working in places they never worked before. Things are about to get switched up. I don't. To me, it doesn't bother me when you get a new coach coming in saying, "Listen, I need to basically put my foot down. This is how things are gonna go while I'm here. This is how things went before I got here. This is how things are gonna go now that I'm here." yeah, it seems a little rough, but if that's the message he's trying to send to the media, and listen, this won't be tolerated, all right, fine. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, is it a privilege for those media people to be there, or do they have a right to be there? You know what I mean? Like, aren't you credentialed for a reason? It typically means you earned that position to be in there to ask those questions. I get it. He's trying to like control it a little bit, but he's also in his second season. He's trying to send a message. I get it, and it's because he's new and it's a different regime. I would probably do the same thing if I took over. Like, certain things are just not gonna fly anymore, and they gotta go. I gotta get you up out of here. But to a degree, I just don't think he has to have 9-win seasons to be the coach there for a while. I don't. I think he'll be able to slide by with 7 and 6s and 8s and 5s and get into bowl games, and as long as the money's good.
You're not lying.
Yeah,
Trey,
you can imagine they get to a bowl game.
11th in the conference. If they finish above expectation and he wins 8 games, you know what they do in college football when you do that? A contract extension because another team is gonna try to come and get you. So you are absolutely right on that. And I know we're getting late in here. I know Trey's
one thing I want to bring up, because Trey just brought up the bowl game. You know, it took us they had to win at least 5 games to be bowl eligible, right? And it took them 6. And they had a chance. Even if it was the bottom bowl, I can't even think of the earliest bowl. You just know at that time last year, those bowl games was hoping and praying that Colorado become bowl eligible. You can imagine people not going to care about the bowl game as far as the name on the bowl game. They was going to pub the hell Colorado versus who cares. It was Colorado going to be here, because Colorado going to be there. They're going to bring College Game Day might go back to that bowl game. It might be the Ponzetta Bowl or something like that. They going Snoop Dogg's new bowl game. They go there. College Game Day will host a show from there because it was Colorado going to be in the bowl game compared to where they came from, and it was going to, pretty much fulfill all the hype that the school was getting throughout the year. Now, obviously, they didn't make it to a bowl game last year, but you can just imagine the attention to that bowl that probably normally people wouldn't even pay attention to because it's so early. Some people may not even watch the bowl game till like closer to the New Year's and whatnot. So that was just the effect that squad had, last year with all the hype that's going on. This year, I still stand on what I mentioned a couple of months ago. Once I found out, I still think North Dakota State gonna beat them in week 1. I think it's just you looking at it's a reason. I remember at the time I was trying to go back and find what schools the last FBS school played North Dakota State, and they nobody wanted to play them. Nobody plays against them. So this is like they was intentionally just leaving them off their schedule. Hell, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. There's some other cold FCS schools that nobody wants to play. And I'm like, damn, I think the last James Madison, one of them. I think James Madison moved up, but because last year, because they was undefeated last year, but because it was their first year as an FBS, they wasn't bowl eligible, so they couldn't make a bowl game. So I was like, it's a reason why, even a great Alabama and stuff like that, they don't want to play these schools. Because a lot of time Alabama be trying to fill in they schedule these fluff teams at time because they play in the SEC. But nobody was ever giving these Dakota schools. Right now, it's really all about South Dakota State. They the dominant ones. They took North Dakota State won a title back in 21. But right now, South Dakota State. So them Dakota schools, I don't know what the hell they got going on up there, but they doing something right. So, and they come with that pedigree. But I did look up the head coach, like you mentioned, Dante. It's a different head coach this year compared to the last one who won the title in 21. But they coming, they gonna believe when they see Colorado, we're a better team than you. They gonna look at Colorado, we're a better team than you. So they gonna already have this confidence about them. So I can just imagine all this stuff we've been talking about, or the media talking about Prime right now. if they go out and we follow the game, we understand how good of a team North Dakota State is. But to the general public, North Dakota State is still an FCS school. If Colorado goes out and loses their first game of the season to an FCS school, oh hell. You can imagine. You're going to see more reporters getting banned from asking questions.
It's going to get ugly for them if that does happen. And I was able to see it. As I figured, they are playing on ESPN tomorrow. So they got at 7 o'clock. It's the kickoff.
I'm watching it.
College season going. I'm definitely going to be locked in. I know I got some stuff to do, but man, football season is here.
I'll tell you this. If Colorado has not improved that interior line on both sides, oh, hell. Yeah, that line last year was terrible.
It was bad. Now I want to say they don't release their projections before. It looks like it's that 5-star tackle they got Seaton. He's gonna be the left tackle, and then I know they got a Peyton Kirkland from Texas. I don't know if they're gonna move him to the interior or keep or a tackle. But I want to see what happens because it's time for the rubber to read the road. It's time for the results. The more they win, the more competitive they look. The talk will quiet down. The talk is going to quiet down because the defense is where it's all at. And as far as what they're going to do, I know that they're going to be able to move the football on almost anybody because they're going to be able to make plays.
They have the skill players, yeah.
They got the skill players, but I know that we're running out of time here, and we gotta get out of here. I know I just had to step out to go put the kids down because it's school time, so it's 8:30. They gotta be down, so they down. And we at the end of the show here. So, as final thoughts, you got anything, Trey?
Hey man, my final thoughts go out to my little football team, 7th grade, Hazelwood, Scrivener Middle School, 7th grade, man, got the first victory, man. Got one kid, he scored 2 touchdowns. He got a 64-yard interception touchdown the previous game, and he got like a 60-yard pass across the middle, jumped, because I've been teaching him how to use his hands, and he's starting to catch the ball at the height, and he's looking good. He's looking better. He's learning how to run his little routes. And, man, just shout out to them, man. They work hard, man. And all my years of coaching and playing football, I've never heard a football team singing songs together in unison just off the whip. I've never seen it. I've seen some tight teams, but just any player just starts singing and everybody jump in and, can get along in that capacity, man. It's the greatest thing ever, man. So salute to them, man. We ain't got another game for another week. It's college football, man. All your working out should have paid off. Don't be so critical of the players, man. Let them play. If you want to play, man, we can suit up on Thanksgiving, man, and I don't mind running some of y'all over, man. I don't care, man. I got 2 good runs in me. Who want them? Other than that, I'm a stiff one the hell out of you. Nah, salute, man.
Hey, man.
What you got for us, Tom?
Oh, my final thoughts, man. I really don't have them. My mind pretty much went in with the whole prime discussion and whatnot, and I'm waiting on that game tomorrow. I'm just excited for college football to be back and give us some. I know baseball is full swing, so I got my eyes on that. But yeah, it's good. It's good to have football back. I'm over here watching the rerun of the national title game last year between Michigan and Washington. So, which I believe Texas would have made a better game if they would have pulled it off against Washington.
Yeah.
I still take Texas because that game would have been strength on strength. Because remember, Texas had a hellified run defense going against the rushing power of Michigan. But I would have gave my edge to Texas because they also had a passing game. But they didn't hold their end, against Washington. So we got what we got. But yeah, that's all my final thoughts were.
Okay, so my final thoughts here. I'm gonna speak about my alma mater here. It's Labor Day, so the Labor Day Classic. Prairie View and them places TSU. That's
seeing the memes.
One of the things about the memes have been out there. Texas. It's not our fault that TSU it's TSU, and they put the T in the middle and the S and the U on the side. So as people would say, hey man, this test is stupid, or I would say, hey, if you don't want to go that hard, just take Third Ward University, and I think we're going for 10 straight. We're playing at a real stadium. You know, they don't have one. So we're playing at a stadium. It's going to be packed out. I wish I could go and make it, but I know I'm going to be actually in the area because I'm going to be visiting my mother-in-law who moved to the Houston area. So it's rivalries back in college. I love it when you start the season with a rivalry or end it. So I just had to have my final thoughts with that. I know we got to get up out of here because we run a little long, but I appreciate y'all as always. Everybody supporting the show in the chat. Trey Fern, appreciate your team and doing good. Good luck to you, Trey. Appreciate you for hopping on. More people, if y'all want to hop on and give y'all thoughts like Trey Fern, come cam up, come correct, and have some good arts. He had to mention what he said in the chat, and we actually agree with what he was saying because you can only get so much from the chat sometimes unless you put a whole bunch of them. If you're going to do a whole bunch of them, just cam up and come up to the show. We appreciate y'all always in supporting the Black Man Unfiltered Network. And again, I am Dante, and this is the Black Man Unfiltered Network. I mean, this is the 1-on-1 Sports Show. Shani, Trey Fern, y'all got anything else?
That's it. Appreciate y'all for
We'll
watching.
catch y'all next week. We made it. Football is here.
Peace.